Hey Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and it has been a long time since my last Flosstube update because I got totally derailed and lost the plot a few days after Thanksgiving. I almost said Valentine's Day. That's how derailed I have been. A couple of days after Thanksgiving, I started feeling sick, and then I got really sick, and I don't know 100% what I had. It was a really relatively mild case of something or a really bad case of something else. I don't think that it particularly matters because at this point in the history of the world, no matter what I am sick with, I am staying home and away from people because nobody needs to be home worrying about what it could be or what it couldn't be. I know as of 2 days before Christmas, I took a rapid test and was safe to go see family. So beyond that, I'm not spending too much time figuring it out. What it did do, though, is it really knocked me off my feet. And we've got all these thoughts about how moms don't have time to get sick. Well, sometimes mom gets sick and she doesn't have a choice. I was out of it. When you watch a 10-minute YouTube video on the couch because your husband and the boys are out in the woods cutting firewood and then have to take a nap because that was too much exertion, you're not powering through the rest of life. So by the time I started feeling better, I had completely managed to forget what I was working on. I have a history of this. Over the past 15 years, I will be happily working away on projects, and then either something challenging will happen, or we will go on vacation, or for whatever reason, I have to pause my projects. And when it's time to get back to the knitting and the quilting and the everything, I'm kind of bad at remembering what I was doing before I lost the plot. Just before I started Flosstube, when I started cross stitching again, I started a project planner, and that has really helped me to keep on track and pick things up where I left off. But about midway through October, I really fell out of love with the current version of my planner and stopped writing things down. And so I know without reminders that I was working on Rainy Summer. I don't think I've made any progress on this since the last time you saw it. I know I was working on Crow Creek Saltbox House by Punkin Quilting. I love this one. I did pick it up a week or so ago and try to stitch, but 10 stitches in, I was like, no, not yet. Rachel Q Stitches tagged me on Instagram at some point to tell me that Punkin Quilting had a new Candy Cane Cottage salt box, and I had not seen it yet. I love it. I am so happy that she tagged me because I think I might have found it eventually, but I'm glad I found it now. And if things had been different, I would have started stitching that right away. This morning I finished the socks. These are that hand-painted Hobby Lobby wool, and I really had to fight through the last couple inches of the cuff because I don't like them. They're just meh. The colors are meh. The texture is meh. But they're done, and my needles are free for another project. That'll work. My husband and I had planned, he took a week of vacation before Thanksgiving, which with his work schedule works out to more than that. And we had planned to go over to my parents' place and sister's after Thanksgiving and hang out for a couple days before he had to go back to work, which was a great plan. And I cast on the toe of a new pair of socks because I thought I was going to finish that other pair and want something to work on. And obviously, I made it up and turned my heel and started my cuff, and I remember doing it. Having the sock in front of me jarred my memory, and yes, I know I did this, unlike some other projects in my sewing room, which I would swear I've never seen before, but this had totally slipped my mind. I splurged on a Black Friday sale and bought myself 3 different patterns I'd been intrigued by so that I can use them to knit up some of my Hobby Lobby yarn from last year. And if I hadn't seen one of the printouts sitting there on the printer, I am not sure how long it would have taken me to remember I'd bought those patterns, if I ever remembered. It's been interesting. And once I started feeling really and truly better, all of my time went to energy went to planning for Christmas, because you have to prioritize. Got things done, got through Christmas. I've got Christmas haul, and I've been seeing posts that we should normalize giving used gifts, and in the right circumstances for the right people, I am all for it. Look what my daughter got me for Christmas. And she tells me that she got this not because she thought I would want to stitch the flowers, but because she thought I would use the frames. There are 3 of them here, and the frames are just gorgeous. The frames do not want to cooperate and easily come out of the packaging, but the frames are gorgeous. I'm thinking Christmas ornaments or little landscapes, or I don't know what. Somebody had actually already stitched the flowers for that one. I like vintage crewel, and she knows that very well. She also found me this one. If you saw the video that I did about the vintage Christmas crafts from the estate sale, I had called her because the estate sale was just a couple doors down from her house, and I wanted to know if it was worth stopping at, and she told me no, they didn't have anything. That was because she had just left with these. I am all for vintage craft kits for Christmas, and I bought my sister, who is not a thrifter, some vintage teacups and saucers I found because they were, I think, more delicate and cuter than Grandma's set that she was thinking of pulling out and using for her tea. And she can use them without worrying about them, and she was really happy to have them. So for the right person, for the right circumstances, I think that used Christmas presents can be awesome. If you're trying to pass used off as new, I don't know. That's between you and your recipient. I got reelless kits for Christmas from a couple different people. This one is Dimensions Overlook Cafe. It is a gold petite kit, and if you watch my channel, you will know I love these. We're going to see if we can do this without too much glare and stuff. This one has a name. This is Let's Go Fishing. Some of these the packaging is all in Russian, some are not. Little Red Riding Hood is stranded cotton. She has a hedgehog. I did not know she had a hedgehog. That was a happy surprise. This is one of the old photograph ones, and the packaging is totally in Russian, so I can't tell you what the name of it is, but they have numbers. It's kit 1434. Remember how much I have complained in the past about beige and pale colors? Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. This is full coverage. I opened it up while we were unwrapping presents because I had to see if these were full cross stitch or half cross stitch. That is all full coverage, full cross stitch. And I am looking forward to her, and just because I am a glutton for punishment, old photo waiting is the same sort of thing. And that's okay, because I'm looking forward to the challenge. I just don't have to take the challenge right now. Remember Blue Jays? I'm going to stitch that. It's a little one. It's 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and the idea of pairs of birds just makes my heart go pitty-pat. And I got St. Honore Street, which I think is a huge, 15 3/4 by 19 3/4. Depends on your definition of huge. I cannot wait to plunge into all of these. But I think I may be moving a little slowly for a while yet, because I had to First, it was getting ready for picking up the pieces and doing all the stuff that hadn't been gotten done around the house while I was sick. Then it was getting ready for Christmas. Now it's picking up after the chaos of Christmas. I will get there, but I may not get there in the hurry I would like to get there in. I've got a couple videos to recommend to you this time. Watch Barbara Knit did a video on It's Okay to Hate Your Yarn. I know that she's right, and that it's okay if your tastes change, and just because you bought the yarn doesn't mean you have to force yourself to knit with the yarn. But yarn has to be really, really bad before I will give myself permission to throw it away. Really bad. And even then I will look for alternatives that will use it up. But it was a very interesting video about basically just because you bought something or were gifted something or found it at the thrift store does not mean you have a life sentence to live with and love and use up those supplies. Somewhere there is a healthy balance between using everything and buying a bunch of stuff you're never going to use, and someday I'm going to find that balance. I've also been listening to Nik the Booksmith. She, while she is doing bookbinding stuff, tells true crime stories. The one I'm going to link to in the description is Whatever Happened to Polly Melton. They're really interesting and not too long, and they have been providing me with great background noise while I do other things. Can't say anything about the project she's working on because I'm just listening to the sound of her voice and not looking at the screen. And that is what I have done for now. I had done a bunch of videos in advance to cover the time my husband was on vacation, and I have at this point used up every video that I had filmed in advance and started spacing out videos with a lot more space between them so the channel just didn't go away until I got better. I think it may still take me a little bit longer to hit my regular stride, but I'm working on it. I am looking forward to getting back to my projects. But there's also some other stuff I've got to handle first. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my Romantic Tangle. And I've got a lot of ideas for new videos. Hopefully some of them will be here soon.